Friday edition of the Carolina Panthers podcast. Believe in Carolina Panthers here on the Believe Podcast Network. Desmond Johnson, Jonathan Stewart, all-time leading rusher in Panthers history in the house. Schuyler Callihan on his final day of vacation, on his honeymoon with his newlywed wife, Madeline. Schuyler will be back with us Monday. Give us the lowdown on everything, as we'll have a short week next week with the Atlanta Falcons coming into town on Thursday night, and we'll figure out where we'll do our preview or recap of that game next week, because that'll be kind of weird with us having a primetime game for the first time all season. But before we get to that, though, Panthers and Bengals this Sunday, 1 p.m. on Fox. The Panthers 2-6 on the season, trying to get on the other side of the win column. The Bengals 4-4 coming into this matchup. Been pretty banged up. Joe Burrow in particular behind that offensive line. We'll get into our preview for that as well. It's a Tell 'em While You're Mad Friday. If you're new to the game, the preview episode that we do each week, we start off with something that's irritated us earlier in the week. It just has to be football related. Doesn't have to be Panther related, but we'll get to that also. Before we do all of that, and again, it's an open mailbag Friday too. So if you are listening or watching this episode on the Tobacco Road Sports Radio YouTube channel, you can participate in the show, just like Humble Beast 00 here. Let's go, big fan, keep pounding. Appreciate your support, Humble Beast 00, and hopefully you'll continue to spread the word about the Believe in Carolina Panthers podcast. Let's go ahead and get into it. Before we do that, a quick word from our sponsors over at Bet Online. Football is back, and Bet Online remains your number one source for all your football betting needs this season. You'll find the latest odds, matchup info, players news, and game trends. And as your continued source for all sports wagering info, Bet Online features live betting, free contests, live scores, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports and events like Major League Baseball, MMA, tennis, boxing, and even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 100% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your rewards. Bet Online, where the game starts. And again, where we usually start typically we do this on Thursdays, but what we do here on our recap episode, usually something pops up that makes us mad, irritates us, grinds our gears, I guess is a good way to put it. Here towards the end of each week. And by doing this,
I'm gonna tell you why we mad, son.
We have decided to do Tell 'em Why You're Mad. Usually it's Tell 'em Why You're Mad Thursdays. It's usually when we're on for our preview. But Stu, I'm gonna hand the mic to you to kick us off here. Why? I know Denver hasn't played yet, and I know we got Denver later on in the week or later on in the season. But my good brother, tell them why you're mad this week.
I'm gonna tell you why we mad, son.
All right, so I'm not a man that likes to go backwards and, pick things from history and, keep bringing things up. And, I'm a guy that likes to move forward. But I must say, the refs, man, they picking on us. Right? Now, or New York. Or
who's us? Like the
Carolina Panthers, dog.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'm here for this conversation. Let's go.
So, we already know what happened with Cleveland. We talked about that. Jacoby Brissett giving us a pump fake. And then, an odd, spike. We'll call that the odd spike.
Yeah. Phantom spike.
And then we got the penalty, the gray area. Let's call that the gray area. That happened to DJ Moore taking his helmet off. Turns out that the flag shouldn't have been thrown.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
You take what you do with that is you take a really hard fought game, like probably one of the best games that a fan would experience and watch all year on the level of the NFL experience. You have guys going back and forth, trading scores, and to have, an interruption of a flag alter, decisions and kicks and lengths and all these things that, go towards the friction of winning a game. Like, come on, New York. Like, you see what's going on up there. Call down to Atlanta and say, hey, pick that flag up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not sure if that's how crisp the process is, but like, there's got to be something to prevent that from happening again. Like, that's such a gray area call. Like, those types of things happen all the time, and I just don't really see how it's been consistent and how you can make it consistent to where you have a game-winning touchdown throw, great pass. I mean, even Patrick Mahomes is over here tweeting, "Man, that was a heck of a pass!" Like,
Yeah, that hurt.
PJ Walker, putting his name out there and putting the Panthers organization on notice because of that throw, because it was a football play, a great football play. It's what people dial up in practice, dream about when they go to sleep. And then you add a penalty to it to where it's like, well, dang, made this a little more difficult when it didn't need to be, especially because the flag shouldn't have been thrown. So I'm pissed off about that. And yeah,
That's a
need to
good
do
one.
better. Need to do better.
I think the thing about that irritated me the most was that days later, people on television sports talking heads, ESPN, Fox Sports, wherever, they all kind of under their breath admitted that the penalty shouldn't have been called. Yet they're still saying, DJ shouldn't have took his helmet off. And like, I understand both parts of it. I know players have it ingrained in their head not to take their helmet off on the field from a young age all the way up into the pros. But I also understand the emotion that DJ was going through in that moment. And I could easily see him thinking the game was over, like on that play, so I could see it both ways. Plus, and we talked about this on Monday, that didn't lose the game. Like that, people are trying to put it on DJ like he lost the game. And I think now more people are kind of coming around and seeing, okay, that didn't lose the game. He tied the game. Like if that hadn't happened, the game's over, like right there.
Yeah. And where I'm at is the refs are supposed to support the game in the measurements of safety protocol and make sure that it's fair play and all that. As far as fair play and all that, they didn't do their job.
Yep.
They legitimately made something harder, more stressful for the Panthers in backing up that kick. And golly, ain't no telling. Right.
I feel bad for Eddie Pinero a little bit too, because he was having a good year. I think he'd only missed like one field goal out of 40 yards like the whole year, and for him to miss those two indoors, just kind of, I feel bad for him. Just don't care.
I just want to let him know that I'm riding with you. You a good kicker, and have goldfish memory.
I feel like the difference here, and maybe Panther Nation can echo it with us, where if we had lost this type of game under Matt Rule, I don't feel like we would have learned from it. Like, I don't feel like we'd be better off from it. And I feel like that's the difference. Like now, I feel like this team will grow from that experience and will play better the next week, this week against the Bengals. Whereas before, it was kind of like spinning your wheels. Like it was almost like, okay, that's the way we lost this week. Let's find a new and amazing way to lose this week. And like, it would always be something different. I don't feel that vibe with this team. They really feel like they're rallying around Coach Wilkes and the philosophies that they're putting in. I saw Shaq Thompson in the locker room a day ago, maybe getting interviewed, and he was basically talking about that Steve Wilkes he basically said, don't quote me on this, but non-verbatim, he was basically like, Steve Wilkes is bringing back what it used to mean to be a Carolina Panther. Like that's what he's bringing back to the team. And that counts a lot in terms of locker room morale. David Tepper watching all this philosophy. You got to have a philosophy as an NFL team. Like, what are you? Like, what identity are you? And they're kind of establishing that now, finally. Just don't care comments. Very heartbreaking loss, but also one of the most fun Panther games I've watched in a long time. I agree. I watched Inside the NFL on Showtime last night from this week, literally thinking our game would be one of the first games they showed because of the excitement of it. They literally waited for us to be the very last game they showed in the highlight package. And then they cut it to just like the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. They didn't even show Pinero's kicks. Like it was just all crunched into like a 45-second thing. That's all right. We used to it. We're Panther fans. We used to them kind of pushing us off to the side. Stepchildren. I could pick that as to why I'm mad this week.
I'm gonna tell you why we mad, son.
I put this on Twitter earlier this week, and I'm still mad about it because I see it every single morning. It's not Panther related. I'm gonna say it's football related because usually I'm watching football highlights while this is happening. If you watch ESPN in the mornings, there's this Medicare commercial that runs like 50 times in the morning. And it has this old lady named Martha on it. And the announcer is trying to convince Martha to call the number to find out if she can change her Medicare plan. And Martha is the most irritable, angriest woman I've ever like seen on television in my life. Like, she's giving this dude every reason why she will not call this toll-free number. And there's even a certain point of the commercial where the announcer's like, her name's Martha, and you could hear the the annoyance in the announcer's voice. He's just like, Martha, like like and like I'm sitting there, I'm typing something, or I'm editing out some video or something in the living room, and I'm watching Get Up or First Take or whatever. It's my normal morning routine before I get out, start doing my stuff for the day. And I realized like Monday, I'm like, this commercial's been burned into my brain because they play it like every commercial break, and I hear Martha's voice just like on and on and on, like, I'm not calling. I think I did that already, so I don't need to call. Like, she's doing all this stuff in this commercial, and it's driving me nuts. That's been the one thing that I've been the most upset about this week is Martha and her Medicare plan on ESPN. ESPN, please, like, tamper the amount of times you play this spot, because it's gotten to the point where I expect it every commercial break, and I want to like argue with Martha. That's what I want to do. I want to sit down with Martha at the kitchen table and argue with her about why she needs to call his phone number. So that's why I'm irritated this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you why we messing.
It's open mailbag Friday.
I got a question though before you go on, Desmond.
Yeah, what's up?
You sure that wasn't a targeted ad?
I hope not. I really do.
Because I ain't never seen that commercial
in January. I don't think I'm in the age bracket yet, but somebody that made that ad buy, they were like, yo, this is our target right here. We're gonna stick this right in the morning block of ESPN, and we're gonna get a bunch of customers. And this Martha chick, she's gonna ride it home for us. Yeah. And like, I mean, she's not even, she's like in a old grandma nightgown. Like,
oh man, Martha.
Martha
needs to get it together, man.
Come on, Martha, call a number, Martha. It's an open mailbag Friday here on the Believe in Carolina Panthers podcast. John Jenkins, big fan of the show, was on a couple of weeks back, and he asked, hey guys, so did you witness the Walker Wonder? Witness the Walker Wonder. Hashtag WTWW. Like I said, when this happened last week, when John was kind of pushing us to push this hashtag, I needed to see another week.
Yeah.
PJ delivered. I mean, if you couldn't have wrote the script any differently other than the Panthers winning the game on that catch. But PJ, I just saw that throw again just a minute ago. They just showed it on TV, and I was just like, that's probably the best throw in the NFL in the past couple of years. I'm sitting there trying to think of a better throw. Aaron Rodgers had one.
Russell Wilson had a couple.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers had one that ended the game. Do you remember? It was like a Monday night game. I think they were playing Seattle, and he threw like a 50-yard pass in the air, and they caught it in the end zone, and it ended the game or whatever. This one was like DJ still had some room to run. He had to run underneath it to get to it, and PJ threw to a spot. It felt like so.
Yeah, and his footwork and just him rolling out to get to where he knew, it was almost like pre-programmed.
Yeah.
If I get pressure from this side, this is where I'm going. If I get pressure from this side, I'll go the other way. But
and he went to a spot like you were talking on Monday. He has a spot. Yeah. When I was rewatching, I was like, okay, that's what Stu was talking about, because he ran to a spot. He knew where the line of scrimmage was. There was nobody near him when he rolled out. Right. He just launched it, man. He just launched it. I think the team seeing that kind of validates what they see in practice. And I think the team's rallying around PJ. Like, I think he's going to be the starter the rest of the year. And if he's going to play like this, I'm fine with it. I'm totally cool with it. Baker's the backup quarterback right now. He seems like he's fine with it. I find it amazing that all of a sudden now I'm seeing these videos all week long of Baker Mayfield throwing a football like 60 yards into like a basket, like it'll hit it or whatever. I've seen like 2 different times where this has popped up on my Twitter. But Baker's going to be the backup here. Got a comment from Gerald Mason. What's up, Gerald? I know Gerald. Love the podcast. Do you think Panthers defense can take advantage of the fact that Cincy's O-line is still Swiss cheese and that there's no Jamar Chase to cover? Gerald, I think we're dependent on it.
I
think that's our whole game plan.
They've been struggling ever since last year, really, to protect protect Joe Burrow. He's been hit 29 times.
Yeah,
I read somewhere like 30, 29, 28.
Something. Yeah, it's bad. Like his offensive line, they spent money to fix the offensive line, and it didn't work.
Yeah, they just not getting it right. They the guys that they got pump faked them. Like, yeah, I'm strong, I'm big, I'm fast, but I ain't got heart. But I ain't got heart to protect my quarterback. That's what they got over there.
They gave him the old
the Carolina Panthers ain't razzle dazzle, baby. We the real deal. Holyfield offensive line coming in and knock you in the face. Pa-pa!
Top 10 offensive line in the league right now, Carolina Panthers, and they're starting to get a little bit of notice in terms of what they're able to do. I agree with Gerald that that's going to be a key component of the Panthers this week. I feel good going into this road game for some reason.
Yeah, Derek Brown out there just humiliating guards, just like pushing them, getting them out the way. Like
Icky just throwing people around. Like Icky Kwanu is doing his thing. John Jenkins Stu get those people at 704 to print up those shirts. He really wants these Walker Wonder shirts. Like he's
man.
He really wants to go down.
I think once we get a win this week, which, as you already know, that's what I'm rocking with.
We got to get the 10, baby.
I actually think like this could be a high scoring game. Considering the mindset going into next week, because I'm not playing football, I can look forward. The Falcons game next week is a very important one, right? So it's a short week. So I'm kind of, if I'm the Carolina Panthers, I'm going into this week being very strategic with the guys that are banged up, the guys that are almost ready to get back in. Like, I'm okay not seeing them play this week. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay waiting them out for the division game against the Falcons. But I feel like we can still sneak one, especially if our defensive line, Brian Burns, Derek Brown, like cause chaos, cause it. I mean, you see the proof in the pudding. If you get, in Burrow's face, he don't know how to act. He just start throwing the ball all over the place. So that's the key.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think they do need to get DJ Moore and Terrence Marshall at pass game active early in this football game. PJ just don't care. PJ started a little slow this past week, but he definitely got focused and ended up turning up for us again when we needed him. Hashtag WTWW. So they're trying to make this go. I'll probably tag this with that hashtag. So we'll see what we can do to get that going.
Yeah, let's get that pump.
Checklist, get me a Walker Wonder shirt and go get me. He got to win some games though, y'all. He got to win some games where we can really legit do this. Like if he can string together a little win streak, get this thing going like Jake Delhomme style, like 03, like just start winning some games, like last second type stuff. I'm with it. I'm on the Walker Wonder train. But right now he's 1-2 since Wilkes took over. And yes, they've been exciting games, but this is a results-driven league. Like, we need some wins. Like, this is a must-win in my mind. Like, we cannot afford to lose this game. I know it's on the road. I know the Bengals won the Super Bowl last year, but we need this game, especially the Bengals coming off a short week themselves. They just played. So, I mean, we should be able to, take advantage of that. They're banged up. Burrow's number one receiver, Chase, is out. We're a little banged up too. Jeremy Chin actually got news on him this week. Jeremy Chin is eligible to play this week, but Coach Wilkes said they're going to hold him out. He's not going to play this Sunday. The hope is that he'll be able to return for the Thursday night game versus Atlanta, which is a
smart thing to do.
Huge thing. And I'm glad that Coach Wilkes put that out there so we wouldn't be speculating on whether or not he would be playing or not.
Yeah, like even that, like that's how you're supposed to do it as a head coach. Like, hey, look. I want to hear about it. I want y'all talking to me about it. This is what's happening.
Right. Like, you don't need to have all the double talk.
Ain't no secret.
The mumbling and stuff and just trying to get around the question. Just tell us straight up, is the dude playing or not? And Wilkes he won't even let you ask. He'll just come up and volunteer it. Like, okay, so Jeremy Chin, he ain't playing this week. Probably play next week. Off the injury report, he's good to go. Any questions? Anything?
All right.
And then that's it.
All right. See you later.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm gone. I love it. I mean, I love the style. He's just football. I love it. Chin is a dog. Can't wait to get him back out there. Yeah, I do feel that Chin, along with Derek Brown, J.C. Horn, who am I missing? Shaq. Are the leaders. Brian Burns. Those are the leaders of this defense, and they're all young except for Shaq. He's a couple more. He's the elder statesman of the defense now, I guess you could say. But
which is
The
crazy to
rest of
think. A
I
young
know it's
boy,
nuts.
my young boy over there being
Young buck.
is the old vet now.
He's the elder statesman of the defense now.
Yeah.
I did see also too that Brian Burns mentioned that he did not want to be traded during the whole trade talk stuff, that he's happy where he is. 2021 Pro Bowler, really being a cornerstone of this defense, I think, going forward. So Panthers Bengals 1 p.m. on Fox this Sunday. We'll give you our predictions here in just a bit. Let's just go through some of the keys to this game. I do think that, again, I mentioned that DJ Moore, Terrence Marshall need to get involved early and often. I think Terrence Marshall has the potential to be that number 2. That Moore and Marshall can kind of be that Moose and Smitty kind of combo. They both do different things. Marshall's pretty good, like Moose was, with moving the chains, getting those high balls, that kind of thing. Moore runs routes fantastic, can get open on pretty much anybody. They got a little something going on there. The key to this game, though, like you said, Stu, we got to get to Joe Burrow. He was sacked 7 times in the Super Bowl. They tried to fix the offensive line. It didn't work. He's been sacked an average of 3.8 times per game. That's the second most in the league. Monday night, the Browns, who we already saw opening week, they sacked him 5 times. Our pass rush ranks 20th in the league going into this game. Youre Gross-Matos, this is the game I need you to show up, buddy. Like, I haven't called your name out in like 3 weeks, it feels like. Marquise Haynes, those they need to help Brian Burns. With him not having Hassan Reddick on the other side this year, it's made it where more teams are keying in on Burns, and he's still getting back there, but he needs some help. Like, we need some people that can get back there and basically fluster Burrow, because I do fear Burrow getting hot. He's one of those quarterbacks where you don't want him completing like 6 or 7 in a row, because then things start to turn to something else with Joe Burrow. Right. Like, he is that dude. Like, he convinced me at LSU that year that, okay, he can do this. And then last year, the playoff run, he really convinced me. Okay, would you say Burrow's a top 10 quarterback? Yeah, I would say top 10, top 5.
I mean, I think talent-wise, overall scope, when it's all said and done, yes, absolutely. As things are panning out right now, like, it's just like, it is what it is. That's where they are in their season right now. He's getting sacked. He's not comfortable in the pocket. So, like, to really just go out and just, say he's a top 10 guy, I can't really say that now.
I'm trying to think if I could do it on my hands real quick.
But I know, like, oh, you said top 10. My bad.
Yeah. I was like top 5, but I don't know if I can put him
he's a top 10. He's like on the verge of 5. I think I put him at number 5.
Get him offensive line
earlier this week on a little quarterback rankings, but I think he's talent, man. Like, it's just he's getting rattled. When you get rattled at quarterback, it's kind of hard. But I'm gonna tell you something about this running game. Cincinnati Bengals defense, I feel bad for them, but I don't, and I don't really care. I should feel bad for them, but I don't, and I really don't care. They had the pleasure of having to try to stop Nick Chubb, and they were not successful because Nick Chubb is a dog, and he runs like a dog. And I can tell you someone else that runs like a dog that they're going to have to stop. Deontay Foreman. The Falcons didn't want to tackle that man.
No, it got to a point where you could
it got to a point where them boys were trying to move out the way. Like, hold on, this freight train. I've heard the term freight train used in a lot of ways lately, Now
let me check, because Hubbard practiced Wednesday. Foreman did not practice Thursday. I need to check to see what his situation is.
Foreman didn't practice because they just making sure they taking care of their horse, man.
Okay.
Listen, don't even worry about all that.
All right, because I do want Hubbard to return. He was dealing with the I think it was a sprained ankle or something.
Ankle.
Yeah.
And I would say this: if Hubbard can play, sure, don't force it. Ankle injuries, You don't want to retweak that. We got the Falcons game coming up. I'm trying to tell you, like, there's levels to this. Like, I want them to win. We want them to win. They want to win. They need to win. But they really need to win next week. Otherwise, we might start talking about, other plans.
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, I've been watching Panther Nation do that for the past month, already talking about the draft and stuff. And I'm like, we've played 5 games.
But
Like,
specifically,
season.
the Falcons, because we already lost to them once, right?
Right.
So we got to make sure we even the score.
Let's see, I did find injury report from Thursday. Dante Jackson was off from practice yesterday. He's dealing with an ankle injury. It's had him in and out of games. That was the second straight day that he had been held out. So they're optimistic he'll be able to play versus Cincy. He played in every game. He got carted off in the Atlanta game last week and didn't finish. But he also had an interception in that game too. Justin Burris has a concussion. Tight end Stephen Sullivan is sick, so they were held out Thursday. Rashard Higgins is actually sick as well, so he was out, and after he practiced on Wednesday. Taylor Moton got a day of rest, so he looks like he'll be good to go. Deonta Foreman, you're right. Stu was given a rest day Wednesday. He was back full participation Thursday.
Was a dog.
Yeah, Chuba Hubbard was listed as limited for a second straight day after he missed last week. Frankie Louvu's got a shoulder going on. They were full participants on Thursday. J.C. Horn's got an ankle injury. He was listed as limited. So it looks pretty good, I think, going into this game in terms of our health overall. So we'll see if that stands on Sunday here. Carolina going to Cincinnati, week 9 clash here. Pretty much everybody in the media is picking the Bengals to win this game. I told you and Schuyler at the beginning of the year to not trust the Cincinnati Bengals. Like my entire life, like I've never seen the Bengals be good, like legit good.
Yeah, that was Wizard. That was a little bit like Wizard-esque. Like he was real Wizard-like in the beginning of the season.
Well, everybody was picking them. Everyone was like kind of blinded by the whole Super Bowl run. And I'm just like, well, they were 10-7 or whatever when they got into the playoffs and got hot. Like they got hot and beat 2 teams in Buffalo and Kansas City that, to be honest, they probably shouldn't have beaten. And that carried over through the offseason where people were like, oh, the Bengals, here they come. And I just didn't see it. I was just like,
they can still get hot though.
They can.
That's
the
name of the game. It's you don't want to peak. You don't want to be these guys that are 7-0 or 8-0 Philadelphia right now, because it's hard to maintain that.
Although
a lot of pressure with that.
I will say the Eagles look good.
They did
really good. Like
they got Meek Mills out there.
Yeah, man.
Philly going to baseball games, basketball games.
You know what? I should have did that for my Telemar.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you why we mad, son.
I don't like the city of Philadelphia. Like I've never liked the city of Philadelphia, and I haven't for some time. And it's because of their sports fans, 76ers fans, Phillies fans, especially Eagles fans. Like they are some of the worst fans. They was
real bad to McNabb. I hated that.
See, they were bad to him. They booed they cheered while Michael Irvin was basically paralyzed on the field at the end of his career. They threw batteries at Santa Claus. Like, I mean, like this is a different level of when they won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago and they were in the streets burning down stuff and doing whatever. You had people out there eating horse manure and like just random dumb stuff. Like, Philly, man. I don't like that they're having all the success right now. To have a World Series game going on and a Thursday night football game going on in your city at the same time.
Yeah,
they don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. I don't care.
I'm not gonna hate. I'm not hating though. I'm happy. I'm happy for it, man.
I'm not going to Philly anytime soon. So I'm gonna hate.
I love when cities both have the basketball teams, kind of like, we don't know yet. We got the baseball, football, balling. Like I wish I was from Philly right now. You got Meek Mills. I got.
Maybe it's jealousy. Maybe that's why I'm feeling this way. Because like I want Charlotte to have a year like that, where like the Hornets are popping and the Panthers are good, and like it's just like the whole
minor league baseball good.
Yeah, everything is just good.
Hockey's good. Hockey's been
winning, or Duke is doing something. Like I want that to happen, and like we've gotten close a couple times, but we haven't quite got there. Another thing too that I thought about this week that kind of I'm doing more than one here because they're all starting to flood back into my memory.
I'm gonna tell you why we mad, son.
Boy, you so angry. You need to go see counseling.
If you think about this, you agree with me or not, because you were on this team. if you put prime Luke Kuechly on the today's Buffalo Bills, they are the 2015 Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah. You know what? I saw actually something that stood out. Josh Allen going through pregame in the huddle
I saw this.
and he's giving all the dabs and all the special handshakes, and just being goofy and having fun. You want to know who that reminds me of? Cam Newton.
And you know what? He got
out
criticized for it.
He got criticized for it
from the media.
Like,
he's not serious. He thinks this is all fun and games. He doesn't want to win.
I tell you one thing, Cam brought that culture. He changed the game because of those types of things.
Yep.
And looking back, that's a recipe, man. It's a recipe to connect. It's about connecting with your peers. It's about connecting with your players, your teammates on a different level. Like it's a beautiful thing to see when you see guys like that take ownership.
It makes me a little angry though, as of what could have been here, because like we joke around here. Me and Schuyler call the Bills Panthers North, just for having Brandon Beans up there, and I think Dan Morgan was up there for a little bit before he came back home. It's a lot of former Panthers in their front office and scattered throughout their roster too, from 2015 on. There's dudes on that roster that played for Carolina, and it's like you watch them play, and it's like, damn. That was us, 2015. They're doing the exact same. They built the roster the exact same way. Actually, and really, it should be if you put Luke Kuechly on that team and took Stephon Diggs off of it. That's the 2015 Carolina Panthers, because Cam didn't really have like a true de facto number one that year, but they had a run game. The offensive line was mauling people. The defense was just number one or tops or near the top of the league. The quarterback was basically having an MVP season. That's them. Like, that's literally what they're doing right now. And it's like teams are trying to figure out what to do with them. And that was 2015 Panthers. At a certain point, teams trying to figure out what to do with you guys. And I came across that the other night when I was watching Buffalo, and I was just like, damn, if you put Luke on this team, this is 2015 Carolina. Like, it really is. So there you go. So now everybody can be mad for the rest of the day Friday, thinking with that thought about Buffalo. Let's pick this game real quick. Carolina, Cincinnati. Carolina 2-6. I'm trying to find. I usually have like a little preview thing sitting up here, and I can't find it anywhere. It's all right. The Bengals are 4-4. They just lost on Monday night. They're coming off of a short week. Stu, give me your prediction on this game. Give me a score. Give me a winner. Give me the vibes here.
Well, you already know who's gonna win the game.
Oh yeah,
Panthers. Just in case you were wondering. Man, I'm riding 24. I'm feeling like our kicker's gonna come through and make all his kicks, and and be focused, and the team's gonna rally around him, and it's gonna be an afterthought of what happened last week, because that's what good teams do. That's what good players do, and I believe our kicker is a good kicker. He's a good player.
I agree.
And I believe PJ Walker is gonna come out, and we're gonna see a comfort level that we've never seen. Even though like we've been seeing his stock go up, we're gonna continue to see that rise. And I believe our running game is going to be the jump start to all of this, because Cincinnati's Bengals defense is going to be like, dang, we got to tackle another guy that don't want to be tackled. And then our defense,
like third quarter, fourth quarter, that's like business decisions. Like they're really like they don't want any parts of that after a certain point.
Yeah, and our defense, Brian Burns, Derek Brown, J.C. Horn, like they gonna do their job, and guys are gonna rally around that to do their job. And then special teams, you already know what it is. I said it earlier. They're gonna be special. Okay, those are the keys to the game. I got a 24. 24-20. 24-20.
Okay.
Yeah, because I feel like their kicker was tripping the other day too.
I agree on that sentiment. I think the Panthers need to do what they've been doing the past 2 weeks, which is I need 150 yards on the ground. I don't care how we get it, but I need 150. I assume Foreman's going to be a majority of that, because if we're running for over 150, that means the offensive line is dictating the game in terms of time of possession, what we're doing. And it's also the pushing that they're bullying the Bengals defensive line. That's kind of what I want to see from that. PJ, keep doing what you're doing, man. I know you started off slow last week. You figured it out. You started getting hot in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter. Ride off of that momentum and use that. I want to see more of Terrence Marshall. He showed a lot last week. I really feel like he's starting to shine and be that number 2 receiver that they thought he could be when they drafted him. I feel good going into this game. I think we match up well against Cincinnati. I think the defense is going to be all over the place. Burrow has the look of a guy that kind of knows he's going to get sacked. So it's like, it's just a matter of how many times can we get back there. And I think this is going to be one of those games where we stack up 3, 4, 5 sacks. We haven't really had one of those games this year. A huge game for Brian Burns. Keep an eye on Brian Burns. And also keep an eye out for like secondary blitzes. I feel like Al Holcomb could use this week to really send some secondary blitzes, like delayed blitzes to go after Burrow. After they, push Burns off to the side or something. Normally it's Jeremy Chin, or he would come in and finish it off or whatever. But I could see a Frankie Louvu or a JC Horn or somebody coming in when you don't have a Jamar Chase to worry about out there, where you got to keep Horn on an island pretty much all week. I think the running game will open up PJ being able to throw the ball a little bit. Just stick to the script. Like, you don't have to change anything. I think what we did last week was actually the script we should keep all year. It's not one of those things you have to really tinker with. It's just execution at this point. Get it done, get a lead, stay in the lead. Don't let that other team get a chance to get back, because Joe Burrow, if you give him a shot and a window to do something that you ain't seen before, he's going to try to do it. So it's like, that's just the way he's wired. They call him Joe Cool for a reason. I'm going to go, I think it's actually going to be more dominant. I don't think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to go Panthers 26, Bengals 10. That feels right to me. I think the Bengals will get a score late, but I think the Panthers are going to jump on them early. I think the defense is going to hunt once they get an early lead, and they're going to make it a long day for Joe Burrow. Like, I feel like this is going to be one of those games where the Panthers kind of put everything together, and it'll snowball into Thursday against Atlanta. We have not talked about how we're going to do next week yet, because normally we do our preview episode on Thursday, and with the game being Thursday night, I don't know. We haven't even talked to Schuyler's in like Aruba or someplace, like, so we don't even know like when he's going to be ready to even let us know when he's doing whatever. He said he'll be back Monday, so we'll have the recap of this game Monday at 2:30, and then we'll figure out together there where we'll do the preview for the Falcons. But hell, we might end up not doing the preview and do a recap like after it or something.
It
like
might be a recap.
Day. That might be the way to go, and then that way we'll have next Monday off. So we'll figure something to that effect. But we're both picking the Panthers. Panthers Bengals 1:00 on Fox this Sunday. Come back Monday for the recap episode of that. Schuyler Callihan from Sports Illustrated will be back for that as well. We got to get out of here. It's Friday. Both of us got all kinds of stuff going on today. So appreciate everybody to stop by to watch or listen to the show. You can listen to this episode and all other Believe in Carolina Panthers episodes on the Believe Podcast Network. Again, brought to you by betonline.ag. Go get your welcome bonus over there if you are a betting person. So for Jonathan Stewart, I'm Desmond Johnson. You've been listening and watching the Believe in Carolina Panthers podcast here on the Believe Podcast Networks. Keep pounding.